like to see how we used to do it back in the empty pools of Encino, Castaic, Irvine, Long Beach, Santa Clarita, Santa Cruz, Fremont.
Yep, we're going to be talking about skateboarding. Probably one of the few things white people have been arrested for in the past that can't actually be a crime. But in all seriousness, skateboarding in proxy began in the 1940s once kids began strapping roller skate axles to 2x4s, fruit crates, and fence boards. Around the 1960s, influences from California surfers manifested into design and styles of skateboarding. By the 1980s and 90s, skateboarding solidified itself as a street sport with support from brands and the mainstream. And once YouTube came into the scene, it became another avenue for companies to sponsor talent. Heck, some of them started their own brands and became self-sponsored. And now, thanks to the Tokyo 2021 Olympics, skateboarding will debut as an Olympic event, specifically street and park-style skateboarding in men's and women's categories.
This morning, skaters hoping to make the 2020 Olympics will flock to Vista for training now that the city boasts a new elite practice facility.
Now here's an interesting tidbit. Usually whenever something big happens in sports, there's always going to be an anime about it. And it looks like this time, it's the skaters' turn.
Now let me just go ahead and just put a disclaimer right here in case anyone wants to claim my authenticity as false. I'm not exactly a 100% genuine skater. More like I only ever made it past novice. Barely. But I have grown around in that environment. I have been to a skate park, and only just now am I deciding, you know what, let's get back on the horse and, or I guess the board. And yeah, here we are. Alright, so basically the story takes place in present day Okinawa, which, if you ask my brother, he'll tell you, yeah, it's a pretty good place to visit once in a while, but if you ask like my great-granduncle, he'll tell you it's not exactly the best place to visit. So, anyways, in Okinawa, there's an underground skate scene event known as S, which is basically a downhill race that takes place in an abandoned factory. There's people wager whatever they want on there, and yeah, it's basically one of those underground places. Now already in my head, I'm just thinking to myself, how the heck is this not place converted into a skate park or closed down by the cops? Well, apparently, and the plot reasons, someone actually managed to pull some strings and make it so that the cops just don't interfere with whatever the heck is going on, even though clearly this should be illegal. Alright? But, you know, whatever. Yeah, it's just letting it happen. It's just happening. Cops are being turned away. Crooked politics, you know how it is. I mean, I don't know. Why not just convert the whole place into a skate park? I just don't see what the problem is. Now, originally, I was gonna go ahead and go on the full rant and say, oh, that this isn't really how skating is done. This isn't really, like, I don't know of any event that is anything similar to that skateboarding in reality is not racing. It's really just more of a qualitative sport like gymnastics rather than a quantitative sport like racing or soccer or anything like that. However, there did claim something. However, then there was something that sort of changed my outlook on the whole thing.
Out, here we go. First skatercross race ever. That first jump.
This is Skatercross, which, much like the name suggests, basically combines elements of skateboarding and motocross. This has been a sanctioned sport that has been promoted and that, yes, does feature professional skateboarders. And yeah, in general, this seems to be what S is based off of. It's basically Skatercross to its most illogical extreme.
Just making short work of this course, ending it off a little frontside air there. Wow.
I honestly don't mind a stylized version of this. Honestly, I mean, it's just perfect course for anime. I mean, stylization. That seems to be the brand that anime is gonna just go on whatever. But, you know, at the same time, I think you do have to be kind of careful with how you present things, because, you know, skaters, we don't have a lot of rules in general, but the few that we do have, we do take seriously, and there's a reason for it. Primarily because, you know, a lot of people are trying to jack our style, you know what I mean? Anyways, I'll elaborate more a little bit on that, but let's actually go into the characters. So, our two main characters. First one, we're talking about Reki, an Okinawa native who basically knows the ins and outs of skateboarding, and at least has most of the basic stuff down to a practice. And then there's Longa, who is a Japanese-Canadian moving in for the first time. Yes, Japanese-Canadian. Because Mexicans can't have nice things. Seriously, what the heck, man? I mean, what? Why? Come on. I'll bowling here once in a while.
If you don't know the dynamic, let me explain. The vet is the one with the most knowledge and skill and is typically the mentor character in any story, while the noob is the newcomer, who may have some talent and enthusiasm but needs to learn the basics. This is usually employed in sports anime to teach the viewer about the rules and techniques of the sport, and thus keep them engaged. However, sometimes the script gets flipped, where the noob ends up surpassing the vet, and that's sort of what happens in this anime.
Longa isn't just any Canadian. He's a snowboarding Canadian. Which means he kinda has some knowledge that translates over to skateboarding, but not much. Reki is sort of just there to sort of help him transition. And apparently he didn't realize that Longa had some hidden talents. That, of course, kinda makes Reki realize that he's been too stagnant for too long, and it kinda makes him spiral into a bit of a depression. However, I'm not going to explain how he gets out of it. That's not because, honestly, I have no idea how other people manage to get out of depression. I'm still in mine. And yes, before you ask, I am aware of the BL undertones in this. Honestly, I could care less. I do care a little bit, but not by much. Then there are other characters such as Joe and Cherry, the two older skaters who already have other occupations and are basically just the mentor figure slash comedic duo of the group. Then you also have Mia, who is pretty much a little brat. That's not another way to say it. Oh, sorry. I mean, yeah, you kind of get what I mean. It's one of those people where, yeah, they know their hot stuff, but you know, it's like everyone gets tired of people saying their hot stuff, so, you know, who cares? And then there's Shadow, who's basically an insecure installer. That's all I'm gonna say. I really have no other thing else to say. He's basically the button of the show. And then there's Adam. Oh boy, how to explain this guy? Okay. You know that guy from that one book, what's the name of the character? Christian Grey? You know, made by that one book that a bunch of single moms for some reason bought in droves. And you know that one line? What was that line again? What was it? Well, long story short, if that guy wasn't, you know, a rich guy, if he wasn't rich, he would basically be a creepy guy that is 50 shades of up, if you pardon my English. And this is due to his aunt's abuse at an early age. Well, this guy's apparently that, plus he's gay, and has 3 aunts. Oh yeah. Or I don't know, maybe he's gay-coded, I don't know if this is the proper term. Long story short, just go watch any other video on gay coding. Trust me, you'll get what I mean. I don't have any of the time nor the intelligence to cover this kind of stuff. So, you know, just look up any other video on gay coding. That's all I'll say. I guess if I could describe him, he's basically every right-wing GOP reactionary's version of a gay person. That is all I can say. Now as for the animation on the show, in terms of overall quality, it's pretty high. I mean, everything looks good, the backgrounds look great, they actually animate the characters pretty well. There's actually one guy called the Rad Rats who actually explains that they actually do a pretty good job in terms of footing. So, let me actually explain it. So different characters will have different types of footing. This is regular footing. This is what is known as regular footing. As you can see, it's basically with the left foot forward and the right foot on the tail. And this is goofy footing, which is kind of where I am. Which is with the right foot on the, which is basically with the right foot on the front and the left foot on the tail. Yeah, you can probably tell already that more people are goofy footed instead of regular footed. Kind of an oxymoronic term if you think about it. And just while I'm still here. So yeah, the whole point of me explaining that is just to say that they managed to stay consistent on who is regular footed and who is goofy footed, which is good. And I'm glad someone who is actually into skating notes that. Being said, a lot of the stuff that does get shown, well, you're gonna need a very good suspension of disbelief first. Honestly, like there are moments in the physics where I'm just like, none of this makes sense. For example, why couldn't they just, I don't know, lightly put some pavement, you know, on the course? Because I don't know, I'd expect people to start eating it a lot more on a course made of just dirt. Just saying. Now, most of the main music was done by Ryo Takahashi, who, honestly, I couldn't really see that anything that noteworthy for me to say about his career recently. But, you know, he does a pretty good job in showing in the show. I mean, the ED and the OP are both pretty good. And, yeah, they're pretty much pops. I'll say that. They slap. Now, here's where it actually gets interesting. I haven't got to see the full dub, but for the most part, it works pretty well. The dub, I know this is coming from Funimation, but for the most part, the dub actually works pretty good. Very good. I don't know, maybe they gave the actors more freedom to ad-lib whatever they'd like for the show. But, you know, whoever made that choice, spot on. Thank you. Give them a raise, please. Because, you know they need it, especially in these times. If you want to watch this show dubbed, that's great. Good choice. Good choice. So, finally, let me just throw in these final notes. And overall, what I can say about the show is, it's not a good skateboarding anime, but it is a good sports anime about skateboarding.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
It's a good anime about a version of skateboarding. Saying this is a good skateboarding anime is kind of like saying Girls and Pants is a good historical anime about tanks in World War II. Yes, kind of, but not in a way you would expect. Simply put, I think the reason why some people sort of hate this, and yes, there are people that hate this show, were expecting park and street skating, but instead they got Skatepark. Now, why would they be so cross like that? Well, consider the timing. Now, I'm not 100% on this, but from what I was guessing, I'm guessing this was supposed to be released in the summer of 2020 when the Olympics were supposed to happen, but because of current events, they had to push it to spring 2021, so, which would be before the Olympics would happen, as they are now rescheduled. Point is, they really wanted to capitalize on the fact that skateboarding was going to be introduced into the Olympics, because they thought they'd be able to get more money out of that. But here's the thing, and this is the part where you really gotta realize they probably deserve a smack in the head, is that they could have done this anime at any time they wanted, and they probably would have had the same results no matter what.
In a 2019 interview with Router's post-skate guide and real-life video game character Tony Hawk stated in an interview about Olympic skating, "My only concern of skateboarding on the Olympic platform is that somehow that will inspire people to skate only for fame or fortune. Skateboarding has so much more to offer young people in terms of self-confidence, in terms of identity, in terms of setting their own challenges, and that is not competitive based. Though my more prominent professional years, I wouldn't have cared if it was in the Olympics because we already had our own scene, and skateboarding was far more popular and fun than most Olympic sports. At this point, I feel like they need our cool factor more than we need their validation."
Simply put, what I'm trying to say is that the show didn't realize just how popular skateboarding actually is. It's basically an underground institution at this point, in the sense that practically every country has at least one person riding a board like this in every part of the world. And I don't know, and actually, here's something about it, and I don't want to be that guy, but where are all the chick skaters?
I mean, look, in this skate park alone, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chicks, and we can easily pass the Bechdel test.
However, I will say that in terms of the spirit of skateboarding, it at least gets at semi-accurate. It gets the right kind of spot. I don't know. I guess I could say I'm offended for white people? I guess that's one way to put it. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I gotta get it. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. I should probably ask other skaters if I should be offended for this. Oh my god, I'm becoming a puzzle. But, yeah, long story short, look, all I can tell you is that if you're really interested in skateboarding, go ahead and look it up on YouTube. You know, you have various other people uploading their tricks and tips on there on how to master skateboarding. And if you're really interested in the competitive scene, well, you have the X Games, Dude Tour, Red Bull, SLS, you know, you got plenty of sponsored events. Or heck, you can go ahead and explore on your own. Get yourself a good board, go around the neighborhood, maybe you'll find a skate park. Now, I don't know how the economy is in your place, but this thing costed me about $100 to get, plus the shoes, which are about $80. So that's $180 off the back. So basically, you can either buy this or a Nintendo Switch Lite. Choice is yours. And you know, even if there isn't a skate park in your area, which I know there are places that don't have them, you can either, I don't know, ask people to lobby for it, or you can just practice in your driveway. You know, there are a couple of tricks that you can learn on the driveway, and it's probably better. So, I don't know. What would I rate this show? 2.9 out of a possible 5. It gets a lot of things wrong, but the few things it needs to get right, it did get right.
I guess all I'm asking is that if you're watching this show purely for the skateboarding, then you should take it with not with a grain of salt, but with this much salt. All the salt you can see right now.
I don't know. Maybe we should just wait until the moe genre pulls some skateboarding anime. Yeah, that's probably the best route. Moe skateboarding anime. Let's see if they make that. Cute skater girls doing cute skater girl things. Let's wait until they do that. So yeah, that's really all I got for you guys today. And if you guys dig the match, please leave a like and subscribe, or follow me on the Twitters, because I'll be around there, doing stuff. And leave something in the comments. What shows you want me to watch, or do you guys like skate, or do you guys hate it? And give me your reasons why. Until then, I should probably do a little bit more practice, because I am rustier than an old 66 Mustang. So, until then, stay safe. Thank you for being smart. Sayonara.